You know, it's kind of wild when you think about it. Some of the most important things that regulate life, well, they're completely invisible. And right now, they're at the heart of a huge crisis. A crisis that starts, believe it or not, right under our feet.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? We're not talking about some big, obvious disaster. This is a quiet problem, a hidden problem, that's starting in the soil and having these massive ripple effects. This is the story of hidden hunger.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, we first need to meet the main characters in our story. These are those hidden regulators I was talking about, these tiny but, oh man, incredibly mighty forces that are basically the spark plugs for all of life.
And that spark plug metaphor is absolutely perfect. Seriously. Just like a spark plug gets the engine going, these micronutrients kickstart all the essential chemical reactions happening inside a plant. You only need a tiny, tiny amount, but without them, the whole system just grinds to a halt.
So these are our key players. We're talking about things like iron, zinc, manganese, and the others you see here. If a plant is short on just one of these, it can cause huge problems. And not just for the plant, but, as we'll see, for us too.
But here's the twist. It's not enough for these nutrients to just be in the soil. That's step one. The plants actually have to be able to get to them. And whether they can or not, well, it all comes down to the soil's secret chemistry.
First up is pH, and you can think of it like a master lock on all these nutrients. In soils that are more on the acidic side, key things like iron and zinc are unlocked. They're available for the plant to grab. But in more alkaline soils, those exact same nutrients get locked away. They're still there, but they're in a form the plant just can't use. Totally inaccessible.
Next, we've got something with a fancy name, Redox Potential. But all you really need to know is this. Water changes everything. So, in a dry, airy soil, iron is locked up tight. But if you flood that same soil like you would in a rice paddy, a chemical reaction happens that suddenly makes that iron soluble and available. It's this incredibly dynamic system.
And finally, there's this really cool process called chelation. Just think of it as nature's bodyguard service. You've got organic matter and microbes in the soil that literally grab onto these micronutrients, protecting them from getting locked up and then delivering them right to the plant's doorstep, right to its roots.
So that's all the invisible chemistry going on. But what happens when it goes wrong? Well, the problem doesn't stay invisible for very long. The plants themselves start sending out these really clear, visible signals that something is seriously wrong. It's almost like a diagnostic dashboard for farmers. An iron deficiency? You get that classic yellowing between the green veins on the leaves. Not enough zinc? You'll see stunted growth, what they call white bud in corn. A lack of boron? You can get a hollow heart in cauliflower. The plants are literally telling us exactly what they're missing.
And this isn't some small, isolated thing. The scale of this is just staggering. Look at the data from South Asia. 40% of the farmland there is deficient in zinc. Another 30% is lacking iron or boron. This is a massive regional problem in one of the biggest food-producing areas in the world.
And here's where it gets really personal. This problem does not stop in the farmer's field. The deficiency that starts in our soil travels right up the food chain, from the soil to the plant to our supper, and it's creating a global public health crisis.
2 billion. Just let that number sink in. That's how many people, right now, are suffering from a zinc deficiency. That's more than 1 in every 4 people on this planet. This isn't just a farming issue anymore. It's a massive human health crisis that starts in the dirt.
And it doesn't stop with zinc. 30% of the entire global population is anemic, and a huge chunk of that is linked directly to a lack of iron in their diet. Iron that was first missing from the very soil their food was grown in. So the big question is, what can we possibly do about this? Well, one of the most exciting answers is something called biofortification. It's basically the science of intentionally packing more nutritional punch into our crops to break this vicious cycle of hidden hunger. And this is where the story gets really hopeful, really innovative. Scientists and farmers are now essentially hacking the harvest. They're using these brilliant strategies to solve this crisis right from the ground up.
And there are 2 main ways to do it. The agronomic path is kind of a direct, quick fix. You apply special fertilizers right to the plant or the soil. But the genetic path, that's a long-term solution. That's where we breed new types of crops, like zinc-rich rice or wheat, that are just naturally better at soaking up these nutrients from the soil.
But hey, we don't have to rely only on high-tech solutions. Nature has its own playbook, and it's brilliant. We can use what are called green manures to naturally enrich the soil, and we can tap into the power of these incredible organisms called mycorrhizal fungi, which form this amazing partnership with plant roots. And that partnership is unbelievably powerful. I mean, look at this. These fungi act like a massive extension cord for the plant's root system, boosting how much nutrition it can absorb by 20, even 40%. It's a perfect example of working with nature instead of against it.
So when you bring this all together, it becomes pretty clear that this isn't just about soil chemistry or even just about farming. It's about something much bigger. It's about restoring a fundamental harmony in our planet's living systems.
And this quote just says it all, really. Figuring out how to manage these tiny nutrients isn't just some scientific puzzle to get better crop yields. It's a moral imperative. It's about the health and well-being of billions of our fellow human beings.
And that really leaves us with a final, crucial question to think about. How do we, all of us, start to change our perspective? How do we stop treating soil like it's just inert dirt and start treating it for what it is, a complex, living system that is absolutely essential to our own health and our own survival?